The action-packed, blood-soaked ending of Guy Ritchie's The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare might leave you wondering, did the execution of Operation Postmaster actually go down that way in real life? In this video, I'm going to explain just how starkly different the movie's ending is from what really happened. At the end of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, the small group of British commandos, who are known collectively as the Small-Scale Raiding Force, carry out Operation Postmaster, a mission to steal 3 ships that were being used in the Axis war effort, in part to help resupply German submarines. The ships were docked in the harbor of Santa Isabel on the island of Fernando Po off of West Africa. In order to carry out the January 1942 mission, it's true that a party was thrown to distract the German officers. However, in the movie, they have some fun with it and they fictionalize it as being a costume party. In real life, it was a dinner party thrown at Santa Isabel's casino restaurant. British Special Operations Executive Agent Richard Lippett, who's heavily fictionalized and depicted as being a black man named Mr. Heron in the movie, bribed the town's electricity engineer to cut the power to Santa Isabel a few minutes early. You see, the electricity supply to Santa Isabel was regularly turned off every night at midnight in order to save power. Tilly lanterns and pressurized paraffin lamps were used at the party so the German officers would be engulfed in a sea of light and they wouldn't notice anything going on outside in the harbor below. I should probably briefly mention here Eiza Gonzalez's character Marjorie Stewart, who plays an integral role in the movie in distracting the head German officer, Heinrich Löhr. However, the real Marjorie Stewart was never there. She did not take part in the execution of Operation Postmaster. Her exploits in the film are fictional. She did work for the Special Operations Executive, which oversaw the small-scale raiding force that carried out the operation. She and Gus March-Phillips, who's portrayed by Henry Cavill, ended up marrying several months after Operation Postmaster. In the movie, their initial plan is to sink the ships, including the Italian merchant vessel, the Duchessa d'Aosta, which was supplying the German submarines. In the film, they discover that the hull of the d'Aosta is double-plated and they're not going to be able to sink it with explosives, so they change the plan at the last minute and decide to steal the ship. However, in real life, their plan was always to steal the ship. They did use explosives to blow up the anchor chains before stealing the 3 ships, which included the Italian merchant vessel Duchessa d'Aosta, the German tug Lacamba, and the luxury pleasure yacht Babundi. When the explosions went off, people ran out into the streets and there was a lot of confusion because they actually thought it was an Allied air raid. This is one reason why in real life they weren't fired upon when they stole the ships. The only injuries I can remember reading about with regard to the true story were when 2 of the commandos were thrown back by one of the explosions and they suffered broken ribs. And the only actual fighting that took place was when they rounded up 28 Italian prisoners on the Italian merchant vessel, and several of the more uncooperative ones had to be coshed into submission. To emphasize how unbelievably successful Operation Postmaster went in real life, author Damian Lewis states in his book, "It was fast becoming clear that the seemingly impossible had transpired. Operation Postmaster had been successful beyond anyone's wildest imaginings. The raiders had stolen away the 3 target ships, and while fierce gunfire still illuminated the night sky above the town, not a shot seemed to have been directed their way. Apart from a few bruised and battered Italian captives, they had not caused a single casualty, just as M had called for. The only shot fired by the raiders had been a negligent discharge, a revolver fired accidentally, and no one had been harmed." They eventually surrendered the ships to the HMS Violet, pretending that they were manned by mutinous Italian and German crews. The captain of the Violet was the only person in on the ruse. The scene at the end, where the men are under arrest for disobeying the Admiral's orders, and then Winston Churchill unexpectedly shows up to congratulate them by serving them a full-course dinner including lobster, that is all fictional. The co-screenwriter told USA Today, "I don't know if he did that or not, but that's exactly the kind of thing Churchill would have done." If you want to learn more about the true story behind the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare and how it differs from the Guy Ritchie movie, check out our full History vs. Hollywood episode linked on the screen. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Anchors away, my friends.